I welcome to Don't Pull the Chicken Switch, 1.5 minute nugget. I'm your host, Kit Alowitz, today, checking in from the sunny shores of Florida. Today's 1.5 minute nugget is one of my favorite topics right now, and it's called Tacit Underlying Assumptions. Tacit underlying assumptions are all those ideologies, paradigms, thoughts, behaviors we have that are below the surface. Imagine an iceberg. You see the iceberg above the water, and you even see the iceberg at the water level, and yet what one doesn't often realize is that the majority of the mass of the iceberg, in terms of volume, in terms of direction for that iceberg, is what's below the waterline, what's below the surface. So for all of us, we have a pile of tacit underlying assumptions that are below the conscious or even subconscious level at times in terms of driving our behavior. Now, these assumptions can be both wise and unwise. I'm not saying they're good or bad, but they can be wise and unwise. For example, I likely have an assumption that I'm always dealing with, that in open water, something is out there. So we're on the beach today. I'd love to go for a swim far out into the ocean right there. But deep below the surface is this assumption that I'm going to be that one in a million that's going to get eaten by a shark or stung by a jellyfish and dropped to the bottom. In reservoirs by my house, I struggle with, all right, is that dead person going to come up and grab me? Am I going to run into a stick? Am I going to get cut? Now, it's not overwhelming, and I do deal. I process it. I've done open water swims in reservoirs and in the ocean, but it's always there, and it messes with me. This week I had the pleasure of teaching 2 leadership classes in Alabama, and we spent a fair amount of time looking at participants' underlying assumptions, professionally and personally. And it was very enjoyable, and I hope very eye-opening for those in participation of the class. For example, there were underlying assumptions around people being lazy or not lazy, family being the most important, taking care of the customer at all costs. The customer is always right. People will rise to the expectation, or people won't rise to the expectation. People hold grudges. These were all assumptions that people have. Again, not wise or unwise, or good or bad. And yet, on the far side of complexity, these assumptions drive our behavior. And if you're not getting the results that you want, then you need to look at your underlying assumptions. So my challenge to you is, would you be game for looking at your assumptions? Now, there's some challenges in doing that. One, it is an incredibly important but not urgent activity. Therefore, we're super tempted not to do it. The other idea is what's easy to do is easy not to do. It's actually easy to take time to look at the way we see things, but it's hard to want to do it. But as you've already heard me say several times in other 1.5 minute nuggets, when you take time to look at the way you see things, the way that you see things can change. And in the final analysis, assumptions at times can be like dirty diapers. We may just need to change them. Okay, Jack and I are back to playing on the beach, building sandcastles, and playing in the ocean. We'll see you next time.